Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to meet with you today because our topic is really great. What I want to talk about today is about what your numbers are telling you and three big reasons you might not be creating more sales in your company. So my name is Ani, and I'm the bookkeeper behind Panera Holdings. And I know why you're struggling to increase your sales, even though you're motivated to make more money. So without further ado, I don't want to waste your time by waiting for more people to join us. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we'll get started. Okay. So why your top line revenues are not increasing even though you are motivated to make more money. These are the top three reasons. One, how a cash forecast can make a major difference in your sales game. So the first question, of course, is what is cash forecasting? So I'm willing to bet that if you knew why your cash situation looked the way it did and what it would be for the rest of the year, that's the forecast part, that it would tell you a story about how the rest of your business and the holidays are going to look. So if we pull up a cash forecast for all of next year, what we're going to be able to do is tell when your sales are going to increase and by how much and what to do about it. So also keep in mind that we can use historical data to help you determine where you were successful in increasing your sales. So we can use it to grade your success as well. And by utilizing forecasting to increase your sales and profits, you can better predict growth, ensure your infrastructure doesn't crumble, and make sure that customer service, inventory, and account management procedures can handle the increase in business. So online coaches, for example, want to sell more coaching packages. What would happen if you sold double the amount you usually do this month? You need additional resources to keep those client relationships high quality. With forecasting, you can put those resources in place before that first client signs on, before they're needed, so that you're not scrambling around at the end, but like a chicken with their head cut off. Then you and your sales team can feel more confident in bringing in those additional sales with follow-up and reaching out to the top contacts you believe might be interested, right? You know what they say? They say, if you build it, they will come. Well, cash forecasting tells you what to build. That way you're not wasting your time on something that isn't really making you any money. So ask one of your team members to send you a business forecasting spreadsheet. This should tell you how profitable you may be and what variables need changing to make things better. And that leads us to point number 2, accurate invoicing. Okay, I know this seems like a no-brainer, but more often than not, it's overlooked because it's so simple. So what are the potential sales that are being lost when you aren't systemizing your invoicing? Accurate invoices not only make sure you receive the correct payment amounts, but they also help create positive relationships with your customers. Those particular line items where you show them the value you brought helps to reinforce the commitment that they've made and why you're charging them the amount that you're charging them. And having accurate invoicing helps you get paid quicker. Nobody likes an invoice that is inaccurate, including your customers. Many mompreneurs are still manually invoicing or making verbal agreements around pricing, and they're not the only ones. But this can lead to scope creep. You've agreed to one thing, and now you're working on so much more for the same price, where you could potentially be selling a new deal or simply increasing the investment amount to cover your additional time and resource investment. As your company scales, it is crucial to automate and have systems for invoicing quickly and accurately. We talked about this last week. Have your bookkeeper or your accountant or even a team member handle your invoicing process through your accounting software. And this way, one person is in charge of setting up invoices and letting you know if something has gone unpaid. An experienced bookkeeper or accountant with the proper software will also be able to identify high quality clients and the ones that have difficulty paying overtime. Which leads us to the third secret, and that is analyzing the right metrics. Your numbers can tell you exactly what is producing results and what is not. So let's talk about the 3 metrics you can use to measure to increase your sales. I have them listed here for you. It's ROI, CLV, and revenue versus your labor costs. So ROI, you've probably heard this one before. It's your return on investment. And when you're using paid marketing, for example, or even sending your team members to represent you at trade shows, you should measure the return on investment to see if you need to do that again. And then another way is by asking your clientele where they heard about you or where they bought your product. You can easily define then what marketing strategy is working and getting you the return you desire and which ones you should ditch. Maybe your Twitter marketing could go up a notch, for example, and because it's bringing you in more customers. For example, if you're putting an advertisement in your local newspaper, but you don't see any clients, customers come from it, or at least none of them say that's where they heard you from, then it's probably time to stop investing in the newspaper and invest more in another avenue for marketing. Okay, the customer lifetime value, which is the CLV. By knowing your customer or client lifetime value, you can determine how much you can spend to obtain a new client. If the average customer lifetime value is $5,000, then wouldn't you be more likely to see the benefit of obtaining a client for $100? And then that way, you know, when you're using those marketing dollars and you've already determined which ones are helping you, which ones are not, when you spend that $100, you know it's making you $5,000, and that's helpful. And the third is your weekly revenue generated versus your payroll or your labor costs. What we're looking at here is the percentage of your labor costs versus your revenue. How much money does your labor force make in this week-long period? So the largest companies in any industry are monitoring their weekly production or revenue generated compared to the labor costs they're incurring. They literally just call it labor costs, even though they are comparing it to the revenue at any moment as a percentage. And you can easily ask your sales manager or another member of your team to send you this information weekly. Whichever day your payroll is run, that's the day you're going to want that. And then you're comparing how much revenue or sales that were created in that week versus the payroll expense that you have. And in most niches, you're looking at anywhere from 20 to 30% of your total revenue across a week versus your, sorry, my baby is crying. Your payroll should be about 20 to 30% of your total revenue week to week. And if this isn't the case, then it's time to either review your systems to increase productivity and sales, or it is time to lower payroll costs. Okay, so overall, growth is great if you have the right bookkeeping software and the right professionals making sure that your business is set up and ready for it. But if we aren't using numbers to make decisions about your company's financial future, bookkeeping isn't going to do much for you. Ask your team to get these reports for you and hold them accountable. Also, hold yourself responsible for taking the time to read the story the numbers tell you. And then don't forget, profit is something you plan for in the beginning, not add on at the end. If you do need support on this, please leave a comment on my post or send me a message directly and we can talk about next steps. Or if you have a business friend who might need to hear this information, please share this video with them or tag them below, and I will get them the replay for you. Thank you so much.